Colorado. That is a fact, believe it or not.
I thought they all came from Montana.
No.
And Wyoming.
Nope. Real cowboy.
Real cowboys come from Colorado. Did you know that? I'll do that.
No,
now.
it's true. It's true. I unfortunately don't have the specific reference, but it can be looked up. Hey, this is the 20th century. Welcome to Google, honey.
Well, I'm going to take your word for it. So your family's not supportive?
No, not really. They're, I mean, I'm on speaking terms. We talk on the phone, send emails back and forth, but it's generally, hey, so-and-so's getting married, or so-and-so's getting divorced, or, your aunt died. I had an aunt pass away 2 weeks ago. That sort of thing.
So are you invited to come to these family and functions, or do they discourage it?
No, they'll tell me when we have a big one every year on the 4th of July, and I haven't gone for years. It's one of those in and respectful. I don't want to create a problem, and there's little kids there, and I don't want the other, the aunts and uncles and everybody to have to explain, because they may not want to, or they may not feel that their child is ready for that, or can understand that yet. You follow me?
No, I do. I do. But I think that you are selling yourself short.
No, God, no.
And
it's out in the sun, in the sticks, in the middle of nowhere.
If you don't want to go, then don't go. But I am telling you to not go because you don't want to go. I don't think that you should exclude yourself because of someone's children.
Oh no,
the way someone feels about you.
That's only one of the considerations.
Or the way that you may create some sort of controversy. I feel like, and that's kind of our varying little
degree of that in and respectful, out and proud.
Absolutely, and because if I had a family reunion and you were not welcome to it, I would not want to put it on, and I would want you there if you're part of the family. And if it opens up a dialogue, then it opens up a dialogue for good. And
I believe all dialogue is good.
Absolutely.
You obviously know I'm hardcore conservative. The whole shooting a match, and you're on.
And we're about to delve into that.
Yeah, we're pretty much polar opposites, as far as I know. And most in the community are, and that's fine, because believe me, I get the grief for it if anybody's read any of my Facebook postings lately.
And I've gone back and looked at some of them, and so being conservative is kind of a huge juxtaposition of really what you are and who you are.
No. Actually, believe it or not, if you look at the conservative or the Republican history, the first black Republican senators were elected in the 1800s.
Sure.
The first Democrat wasn't until the 80s. It was the Republicans who freed the slaves, not the Democrats. And you can go.
But we're also looking at what modern day is about, rather than going back to the 1800s.
My point is, it's a historical from the beginning of the Conservative Party. Well, originally the Conservative Party was the Whig Party, and Lincoln was our first Republican president on the Republican ticket because he lost the Whig when it was the Whigs against the Democrats back in I think 1790, and I can't remember who it was. The runoff was between Lincoln and someone else, and I can't remember, on the Whig ticket, and he lost that one. And then he left the Whig Party, and we started the Republican Party, and then he was our first Republican president. So technically, the Republican Party began with Lincoln because we were the Whig Party prior to that.
Right.
And it's WHIG.
Right. Don't you think that the whole idea of it has changed, especially here lately
No.
with the Tea Party.
No.
Don't you find that if Sarah Palin was having a fundraiser that she, like your family, would not want you to be there?
Oh, no, they wouldn't care. I guarantee
I think
you.
you're wrong.
I know.
I think that they would not only not want you there, they wouldn't let you in.
Oh, they absolutely would. Because I'd probably go
I'd like to
with,
test that.
well, if John Hawkins will ever invite me to go. He is such a cutie, too.
I think that they would prefer not to have me there. I think that
Well-
they would prefer not to have you there.
No,
I think that they would prefer not to have just about every one of the people that you and I have in common there.
I don't believe that.
I think, I'm sure of it. I think that if we were writing checks, they would welcome us.
No.
And I think they
I
would
don't
take
think
our
that-
money.
I really don't.
But I think that,
I don't think so.
I think that they deny rights, and I think
No.
that they want to make sure that rights are only for the top few.
Absolutely wrong.
Okay? Convince me. Tell me why.
Well, as I was saying, it was the Republican Party that freed the slaves. So if you,
But we're talking today. I think that if we were
I'm leading up to today.
we're
You gotta give me
talking
5
still.
seconds to
Okay,
explain
go
all
ahead.
this.
Go ahead.
I need
go
a
ahead.
second
Go ahead.
to get caught up.
Go ahead.
So, from the beginning, the Republican Party began with equal rights. You know, elimination of slavery. We moved into the 60s and 70s, and it was the Democrats, Bull Connor, Woodrow Wilson was actually a Democrat, the president that resegregated, not resegregated the Army. It was segregated from Lincoln all the way up to the 20s and 30s to Wilson. And he said, you know, no, I'm not going to let coloreds be serving with us whites. And he separated the services. Then you move forward up into the 60s and 70s. It was Bull Connor, the Democrat, that was using the fire hoses against the blacks. It was the Democrats that came up with the white-only and colored-only water fountains. And interestingly enough,
Separate but equal.
yeah, separate but equal. That was a Democrat idea, not a Republican idea, or not a conservative idea. Interestingly enough, Thomas Sowell, who's a brilliant, I mean, he is one of my favorite writers. You can find him on townhall.com, and God, Google him, Thomas Sowell. Brilliant man. And he tells a story of when he was young, and you know, this was, now he's older, he's probably in his 70s now, so he was young at the time of segregations with the white-only and black-only fountains. And him and his little brother were at the Kmart, and they saw the water fountain with the white-only and the colored-only. And he says, well, I wonder if theirs is better. So they both snuck over there and had a drink out of the whites-only water fountain, only to discover that, you know, it was exactly...
It's the same water.
Yeah, it was exactly identical. So, you know, they were both kind of let down that the white person only water wasn't better than the colored person water. They were really let down about it. And he tells this funny story, and it's really
Thomas Sowell?
Uh-huh.
S-O-U-L?
Sowell.
Okay.
Sowell. Sowell. He's primarily writes. Now I'm drawing a complete blank. I read his column every week religiously. I do, every week religiously. Financial. He's a financial columnist.
Okay.
Mostly. Now, he does delve into civil rights a little bit, but he usually bases it on a financial point of view. Like Thomas Friedman, you know, he would give wonderful examples of reality based in finance. So you get up to the 60s and 70s, and you've got the Democrats again with Bull Connor and the Wilson, you know, in the 30s with the segregation. And no, you know, it was MacArthur who ordered the military in to force the Democrats to let black kids in school. It wasn't a Democrat president, it was MacArthur.
But it's a Democrat president now saying that he supports gay marriage, and the Republican Party, as we know it today, is saying no.
No.
Is saying
The-
absolutely not, that marriage is between one man and one woman.
The conservative position, and I'm of two minds on this, so I may need to elaborate just a little bit. I'm of two minds on it. The conservative position is the biblical position, which is one man, one woman. From a legislative position, a constitutional position, if you allow a redefinition of the word marriage, which is 14,000 years old, thereabouts, and all of a sudden in the past 15 or 20 years, suddenly it needs to change? It's 14,000 years old, and just now everybody's figured out that, oh my God, it suddenly means something new? No, I don't buy it. That's political, that's not reality. The constitutional...
You don't think it's biblical?
No. The constitutional position...
Where is the definition of marriage? Where is this 14,000-year-old definition?
Marriage is a religious tenet. It's not a civil right. It's a religious
Why isn't it a
tenet.
civil right?
Because it's a religious tenet. It's a function of religion. It's not a function of the government. And this is the one question I can ask anyone. Congress has 19... The federal government has 19 enumerated powers granted to it by the people. Which one of those 19 covers relationships and dating?
Probably none.
That is correct. It is not a federal power. That's the constitutional position. The federal government has no legal authority to render a decision for or against. It doesn't matter if the government is for it or against it. They're not legally allowed to rule on it. It's a states' rights issue, period. Now, if a state says, we're going to allow it,
Right.
If a state says, we'll work out, here in Texas, we're going to say yes to gay marriage, but we need to work out a deal with Louisiana. If a Texas citizen moves to Louisiana, we need to work something out with them legislatively at the state level to make sure, it's like property and, whatever. Because when you get married, there are certain legal things that come into place. And my second point would be that I will be 100% behind gay marriage the first time I see a huge gay protest saying, please make me pay alimony. Please take 50% of my assets. Please, put me in jail for not paying child support. As soon as I see those protest signs, I will believe that gay people
But child
are
support
serious.
and gay marriage have absolutely...
No, they have absolutely...
They are linked, but a gay man can still have to pay child support and alimony if he gets married.
That would be true.
To a woman.
To a woman, yes.
So he can still, or she can still experience that, and that can still be a factor.
But you have to understand that's a rarity. A lot of times there's a
I
lot
don't
of
think
people.
so anymore.
Well, you're probably right about that. I mean, probably in the past 15 or 20 years.
I think it's always been the case that, I think a lot of gay men get married and have children.
I believe that. Well,
They just don't realize they're gay until they're 30.
yeah. They
Or
always
their
wondered.
church wouldn't allow them to be gay, or their family would not allow them to be gay.
So they were in the closet,
Therefore,
so,
they ruined other lives.
They married Sally, from high school, and then, instead of going down to the bowling alley, they were going over to the block party.
Right.
So I would imagine that's been going on a lot longer than 10 or 20 years, though.
Oh, I bet it's
mean,
been
you-
going
you-
on since the beginning of time.
Well, you could go back. That was Roman. That was very popular in Rome.
What is the definition of marriage?
From a legal standpoint, I can't tell you. I would have to actually look that up from a legal
Can we look that up?
Which definition would you like?
How about, I would like Webster's.
Yeah, just go with the Webster's.
Just go with Webster's.
Yeah, Webster's works for me.
All right, I'm gonna go with American Heritage Dictionary. Marriage, a noun. The formal union of a man and woman, typically recognized by law by which they become husband and wife. Also informal. Similar union between partners of the same sex. Gay marriage.
So the American Heritage Dictionary recognizes that marriage can be between a man and a man.
Correct, but again, that's religion, not law.
Did they say anything about religious? Did it say anything about religion?
No.
That had no religious content.
It didn't?
No.
Well, okay, hello, blonde. Yeah,
So-
okay, not the smart one.
So
We've discussed this.
I want to disagree with the fact that it is a civil right to me. I think that as a man,
Mm-hmm.
I think that one of my rights would be to marry,
Well, again,
and I should be able to get
But
1,100 tax deductions or 1,100 incentives.
or whatever the
that
goofy number is.
yeah, it's over 1,100.
Honey, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 52,000 and they just haven't found the other 20 yet.
And so why am
Probably
I
because the
being
tax code.
denied? Why am I being denied those benefits if I want to marry a man?
Because the state currently does not recognize
Oh,
it.
I'm clear.
And
I'm clear.
the state is what issues marriage licenses,
Right.
which, honestly, I think is rather dumb. I think marriage licenses should go back to the old way, which is through the church. Because it used to be you would just go to the church, the pastor would say, you're wed, and here's your little thing, and
But
you're done.
Not everybody goes to the church.
Well, true. No, I understand that because
And
there's people
so-
that are non-religious or non-denominational.
What about Jews? What about people who, and I've gotten into this argument. It's not really an argument. Well, a lot of people who say that marriage is a religious institution, but there are so many people who are not a part of a religious institution. And so therefore you
that's
are
true.
now forcing those people to choose a religion
No.
in order to get married.
No.
If
No.
it goes through a church, you are.
No.
And so that's why it's a government issue, and that's why then it becomes a civil right.
No, you're looking at it. You're looking at it completely backwards. I'm a gun owner.
I'm a gun owner too.
Oh, are you really?
I own 4 guns.
Oh my
actually.
God, a homo with a gun. Oh shit.
And I believe in my right to own it, and I believe in my right to use it.
Absolutely, me too. Amen to that, brother. Oh God, did I tell you I had a stalker? I swear to God, I leave the bar, walk out in the parking lot. I've got I'm in a gown too. So you know what a pageant gown looks like. They're
No.
now
I've never
really,
seen it.
really.
Yeah,
Oh.
right.
Well, let me take the next 40 minutes and describe every single
Don't do
sequence
that.
to you. Okay, so I'm in a gown. It's late. It's 3:00 in the morning. I'm drunk. I'm hungover. I'm tired. I've been flirting with people all night and being cute and funny, and I'm all out of cute and funny at that point.
And all you want to do is get in your car and go home.
Pretty much. So guys in the bar says, hey baby, what's cooking or what's shaking or something? I'm like, sorry honey, I'm on my way home. And he goes, well, why don't we go someplace? I'm like, well, I'm going home. You can go wherever you like. Preferably the opposite direction.
Yeah, I'm going south. You can go north, please.
Yeah. So he follows me home.
You didn't notice him?
No. Honey, it's 3:00 in the morning. I'm drunk, hungover, and tired. And I could barely see the road, let alone anything.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Okay, can we edit that part out? Really? Whoops.
Well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You really don't drink excessively.
No.
I've never seen you drink excessively.
No, that's fine. You can ask Stacy. He's been my bartender for 15 years. He's seen me pass out on the bar twice, and that was both because I was drugged. And he was there. He watched it happen. And I sat there, passed out on the bar till you guys had the lights on. I think it finally told me to leave.
Lovely.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I drove all the way home, and then then I got on my exit, and then I noticed, like, wait a minute, every time I change lanes, there's this car behind me. And now
dear.
yeah, so I basically got to the exit and drove past the gas station by my house when I finally figured out somebody was following me. Well, needless to say, there's a video of me out there somewhere that is quite exceptional, if the police ever release it. Because I pulled into my driveway, he pulled up and stopped in the street in front of my house. I got out of my car in my woolly mammoth, my mink coat. I pulled that .45 Colt automatic pistol out, walked across my front yard, about broke his tooth off shoving it in his mouth. Drug him out of his car, almost broke a nail, which really pissed me off. Oh, God, because it hurt for like 3 days. Ugh. And you know how I am about my nails.
Yes, I do.
So, drug him out and had him down there laid out in the concrete. And the only thing coming out of his mouth was, "I'm sorry, please let me go. I didn't mean it. Please let me go. I'm sorry." And I, screaming at the top of my lungs, in a ball gown, in hooker heels, and a mink coat out in the middle of the street.
In the grass.
No, out in the street.
And you should never wear heels in grass, ever.
Well, I walked down the sidewalk and by the driveway, not necessarily, because I tried that once and fell flat on my back in the middle of my front yard. So, yeah, and then all of a sudden, wasn't long before every single squad car in town showed up. So there's a dash cam video of me just about ready to gun somebody down in the middle of the street. So, yeah, I'm a big-time gun owner.
But you're permitted, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so am I. And I believe in our right to bear arms.
Oh, yeah.
I believe in our right to
protest,
religious freedom.
Oh, absolutely.
I believe in our right to protest. I believe in our right to
fair trial.
I believe in our right to marry, even if it's man to man, even if it's woman to woman.
As long
It's
as
a civil right.
if the state says so, fine. The federal government cannot legally render a decision.
Did you know that in the state of Texas, it is legal for me to put my penis in a horse's bum, but it is not illegal for me to put my penis in a man's bum?
Now, I don't know, I've never heard of that law, but I know it's an old one. Because I'm sure there were some cowboys that got lonely at night, and that's the reason for it.
Well, it's ridiculous.
Well, it's almost...
Cows, animals, and sheep, and horses do not get to consent.
Honestly, it's almost as bad as kissing your girl in public, spitting on the sidewalk. Because back in the 1900s, you didn't hold hands or kiss a girl in public. That was just not done. You didn't show... I mean, God, what I'm wearing today would be positively...
Punishable by death.
Oh, practically. Yeah, this much skin? Oh, yeah. And I ain't showing that much. But I never do. I'm...
Well, in almost half the states, 45, almost 50 years ago, it was illegal for a white man to marry a black woman.
That is true.
And it was up to the states at that point as well. And so my argument is...
that's my point. That's what makes it not a civil right.
It is a civil right, but it is a civil right for a man to be able to marry a black man to marry a white woman.
No.
Why isn't it?
It's a states' rights issue.
It is a civil rights
No, you are
issue.
conflating the two terms.
No, I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying, and I understand it. What changes it is the word religion.
I think that's true to a certain degree.
What changes it is the word religion. And you can't lump everyone into the same or under the same religious guideline, because some people have no religious guideline and some do. And some don't believe in religion at all. I'm assuming that being conservative, you're also religious?
Honestly, I'm really not. I'm spiritual, you know. I kind of, I mean, I'm not into crystals and doing the whole, you know, triangles and, you know. No, I don't have, you know, any of that stuff, wind chimes and going. I actually did have wind chimes on my back porch for about a day.
I love wind chimes.
And they're absolutely the most beautiful. They're cut glass with, I mean, they were just absolutely stunning. You would love them. As a gay man, you would love them. And they were on my back porch for all of a day. And I get a breeze from the park. Clink, 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 and I was like, oh, hell no.
Cut the bitches down.
So now they're back in the really, really beautiful felt-lined box that they came in, and they will remain there for at least another 20 years.
And as soon as we start getting hot and heated, we have to go. You've been listening to Just Keep Breathing on RationalBroadcasting.com. These are the days that I wish I had 2 hours.
Yes.
And my guest today, Michelle Hart from www.feminineglamour.com. She's a writer, a blogger, showgirl, and if you're needing any help becoming the more feminine you, we want you to contact Michelle Hart at feminineglamour.com. And we can follow you on Facebook.
Yes, you can.
And Michelle Hart.
Just type Michelle Hart into Google.
We want you to tune us in every Tuesday, every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. right here on RationalBroadcasting.com. I'm Richard Curtin. Michelle, thank you very much for being here.
It was absolutely my pleasure.
Have a great afternoon and great weekend.
Bye, everyone.